The episode opens with a raw, emotionally charged continuation of the fallout from episode 6, immersing viewers in the psychological aftermath of Ellie's brutal interrogation of Nora. The show wastes no time in confronting the moral decay and emotional unraveling of its protagonist. Bella Ramsey delivers a hauntingly powerful performance as Ellie, whose return to the theater, a crumbling sanctuary tucked into the ruins of Seattle, sets the tone for an episode steeped in emotional reckoning. Inside, she finds Dina, her steadfast companion, whose quiet presence contrasts the storm raging within Ellie. The intimacy of this moment is striking. Dina carefully tends to Ellie's wounds, gently washing the blood and grime from her back. This act of care, tactile and nurturing, is undercut by a growing emotional chasm between the two. The physical closeness is almost ironic. It underscores just how far Ellie's choices are pulling her away from the people who love her. The camera lingers on their interactions, amplifying the weight of unspoken fears and regrets. Ellie, burdened by the horror of what she's done, finally opens up. She recounts her encounter with Nora, revealing that she didn't kill her outright. Instead, she beat her, forcing her to give up Abby's location. Clues like whale and wheel, which viewers will later recognize as hints toward the aquarium base. Afterward, Ellie left her to die a slow death from cordyceps infection. Her delivery of this confession is chilling. She speaks with an eerie calm, detached from the magnitude of her actions. "It was easier than I thought," she admits. This moment is pivotal. It crystallizes the corrosive effect revenge has had on Ellie. She's crossing lines she never imagined, and the ease with which she does so is deeply disturbing. Dina's reaction is heartbreaking in its complexity. Storm Reed's performance imbues Dina with a mix of loyalty, shock, and deep sorrow. She initially offers a darkly humorous response. Nora got what she deserved, but the levity quickly fades as the full weight of Ellie's actions sinks in. Then comes another bombshell. Ellie reveals the truth behind Joel's violent rescue in Salt Lake City. She tells Dina that the Fireflies had planned to use her immunity to create a vaccine, but doing so would have required her death. Joel stopped them, killing everyone involved, including Abby's father, the surgeon Jerry Anderson. This confession reshapes the narrative. Ellie's mission isn't just about avenging Joel's death. It's about wrestling with the loss of her potential to make a difference, the meaning behind her survival, and the betrayal she felt when Joel lied to protect her. Dinah, now aware of the full scope of the trauma Ellie carries, pleads with her to stop the cycle. Her voice trembles as she urges Ellie to return to Jackson. "We need to go home." She's not just speaking for herself, but for the life growing inside her, the child that Ellie seems to be forgetting in her obsession. But Ellie, consumed by grief and rage, cannot let go. Her silence in response to Dina's plea says more than any words could. The narrative then pivots, following Ellie and Jesse as they venture deeper into the ruins of Seattle to search for Tommy. Their journey is perilous. The city is portrayed as a war zone, scarred by the ongoing conflict between the WLF and the Seraphites. The urban decay is visually stunning, with overgrown vegetation swallowing skyscrapers and makeshift fortresses rising from the rubble. These settings enhance the episode's tension, serving as constant reminders of the world's collapse. The action sequences in this segment are visceral and gripping. Ellie and Jesse dodge Seraphite ambushes and navigate treacherous terrain. The absence of infected doesn't diminish the danger. In fact, the human threat is more immediate and terrifying. The Seraphites, with their eerie whistles and cult-like fervor, add a sinister layer to the episode's already oppressive atmosphere. Jesse, played with grounded sincerity by young Mazzino, becomes a moral compass amid the chaos. His steady, no-nonsense demeanor contrasts sharply with Ellie's volatility. Their interactions crackle with tension and care, revealing a complex dynamic shaped by shared history and unspoken emotions. Jesse confronts Ellie, not just about the mission, but about her relationship with Dina. He acknowledges the pregnancy and the complications it brings, urging Ellie to think beyond herself. His blunt statement, everything is not about you, lands like a slap, a moment of painful honesty that forces Ellie to reflect, even if only briefly. The show also touches on the delicate throuple dynamic between Jesse, Dina, and Ellie. It doesn't sensationalize the situation, but instead treats it with emotional realism, portraying how tangled love can become in the midst of survival. These interpersonal tensions ground the larger story in very human stakes. The emotional crescendo of the episode arrives when Ellie infiltrates the WLF's Costco base in pursuit of Abby. There she encounters Owen and Mel, familiar faces from Abby's circle. The location itself, a repurposed big box store, is a haunting reminder of the world that was. The confrontation is taut with dread. Ellie, desperate and driven, holds them at gunpoint. Owen tries to de-escalate the situation, but the tension explodes when he reaches for a weapon. In the chaos, Ellie accidentally stabs Mel. Only after Mel collapses does Ellie realize she was pregnant. The moment is gut-wrenching. Time seems to freeze as Ellie stares in horror, her face crumpling with regret. Unlike in the game, where Ellie's choices feel more deliberate, the show portrays this tragedy as an accident, which has sparked debate. Some critics argue this change softens Ellie's arc, robbing it of moral complexity, while others see it as a raw, realistic portrayal of how violence spirals beyond control. Owen's fate remains ambiguous, but what's clear is that Ellie is shaken to her core. She sees herself becoming like Joel, making irreversible choices, crossing lines, and hurting people in the name of love and vengeance. Then comes the gut punch. Abby finds them. In a swift, brutal sequence, Abby ambushes the group. Without warning, she shoots Jesse in the head, killing him instantly. The moment is shocking in its suddenness, echoing the raw brutality of Joel's death in Episode 2. Jesse's death is particularly painful, given how much time the show spent building him up as a grounded, reliable presence. It's a brutal reminder that no one is safe in this world. Abby doesn't stop there. She confronts Ellie, gun raised. The episode ends on a cliffhanger, with a gun pointed at Ellie's head and no clear resolution. The silence is deafening, the tension unbearable. But the story doesn't end there. In a daring narrative pivot, the episode jumps back in time, showing us Abby's perspective from several days earlier. A wide shot reveals the WLF's bustling base, and the text, "Seattle Day 1, appears on screen, signaling a narrative structure borrowed directly from The Last of Us Part 2 game. At the base, Abby's commanding officer, Isaac Dixon, speaks with his second-in-command, Elise Park. They discuss Abby's growing importance in the WLF's hierarchy. Isaac hints that if he falls in the upcoming war with the Seraphites, Abby may be the one to lead. Yet Abby is missing. She's gone AWOL, pursuing her own path, which hints at a growing disillusionment with the WLF's leadership and methods. This final scene sets the stage for a massive narrative shift. The next phase of the story will center on Abby, her choices, her pain, and her humanity. While this structure is faithful to the game, some critics worry it may alienate viewers who have emotionally invested in Ellie's journey. Still, it opens the door for one of the boldest character studies in recent television, challenging audiences to see the enemy not as a villain, but as a person shaped by love, loss, and survival.